The word accelerator gets used a lot in enterprise tech, and very often incorrectly. Sometimes it means a demo someone built for a conference, or it could be a reference architecture slide deck, or just a pile of scripts that works only for one specific purpose. But in enterprise context, an accelerator is a very specific job. It reduces the time to value without reducing control. And that's what I basically want to explore today using the Microsoft Fabric Toolbox GitHub repo as an example. And if you're working with Fabric at scale, you've probably hit this already. You don't want to reinvent the monitoring, governance, or automation, and you do want some patterns that work across different environments, fit into the CI/CD pipeline nicely, and don't lock you into a single golden demo workspace. Well, I guess that's why you are watching my videos about the Fabric in the first place. Accelerator is not a product and it's not a finished solution. It's a practice, and a good accelerator sits somewhere in between the documentation and the real implementation. It gives you some proven patterns, sensible defaults that you can use. It has some reusable building blocks, but it doesn't hide the platform primitives from you, and it doesn't make their platform architecture decisions for you. It just gives you those blocks that you can combine together and speed up the development. Somewhere I found the number 40%. That's how a good accelerator can improve the speed of the delivery. So it's a reasonable number. From an enterprise perspective, accelerators solve a very specific problems. Consistency. Teams don't reinvent their monitoring, security, or automation differently. Secondly, it's risk reduction because you start from patterns that have already been exercised, so it's not some fresh experiments with a lot of uncertainty. Next is onboarding speed, and new teams can understand how things are usually done without some sort of tribal knowledge, and they can just expand this knowledge as you go. And usually, documentation for the accelerators are really good. And the last but not least is a platform alignment. Accelerators translate abstract product features into concrete usage patterns, and that helps with that alignment of different streams. And this is especially important for platforms like Microsoft Fabric, where building blocks can be powerful, but the how of those it is intentionally left as a very flexible solution. Now, with that definition in mind, let's look at the Microsoft Fabric Toolbox repo itself. What's important here is how the repo is structured, not just what's inside of it. And as we are going to click through those folders, just notice that it is not a single end-to-end solution. It's a collection of very focused tools that you can pick or not pick and not use at all. And each of those tools or each of those folders, they address a very specific operation or platform concern. And on top of that, it has a nice documentation, as I said, how to install it, what to expect from it, and how to actually use it. Each folder represents a problem that you will most certainly face in production, and a starting point you can adapt or extend or integrate it into your own workflows. It's a modularity key accelerator treat. You can adopt one part without committing to the rest of the whole repository, and it can evolve alongside your internal standards. So you can just pick up a notebook, run it, get the dashboard or the report to use, and then you can update it as you go and do what you want with this report. You are not fixed into one thing. It's not as strict as frameworks in software development, for example. And still, you benefit from those shared patterns across different teams. With all of that being said, let's jump into the repository itself. And as you can see, the Fabric Toolbox is a repository of tools, accelerators, scripts, and samples to accelerate your success with Microsoft Fabric, brought to you by the Fabric Customer Advisory Team, or CAT. Those people are great and can solve a lot of your problems if you can get hold of them. The README for each of the sections is amazing, and you can see that there are those sections like monitoring, accelerators with links to specific paths. And with monitoring, the very nice one that I highly recommend you to pay attention to is that Fabric Unified Admin Monitoring with a nice name FWAM. It built on top of the Fabric Capacity monitoring app that we used in one of the previous videos, and it expands it even more. So if you click on that link, it will get you to the monitoring Fabric form folder, and there you will have an explanation how to do it under the how to deploy it or how to update it if you already deployed it and you want to update it. But the basic idea how it is done is pretty much you have a Python script and some prerequisites that you need to do, and you can execute this Python notebook, so pretty much run all, and you will get a very nice report about the monitoring for the monitoring of your capacity and all of other things. On top of that, in the accelerators folder, you can have a little bit bigger pieces, building blocks. For example, for the CI/CD, there are a whole bunch of different approaches that you can do. So there is a deployment of Fabric items using the Fabric deployment pipelines, as we covered in one of the videos as well. And there is a nice picture with a diagram how it is actually working. So you sync feature branch to a feature workspace. Then from the main, you go to different workspaces using the deployment pipelines. Or alternatively, what we've done, it is deployment using Python or even the Python CI/CD Python library, as we said. So there are a lot of different options, and you can pick and choose what exactly works for you and for your enterprise in your specific scenario. On top of that, there is an accelerator for the business continuity and disaster recovery, or how to implement the real-time intelligence event house, or how to properly implement the policy Viva. So basically, if you have a definition of your policies and access roles in, uh, let's say, how it is called, Snowflake, and you want to mimic something like that in Fabric, then you can have a single definition that could be migrated between different platforms. Then inside of the scripts folder, you can get a lot of specific scripts. So, for example, to copy data warehouse to the table, and those are just SQL scripts, or sometimes it can be Python scripts, and sometimes it can be a C# code. So a lot of different options that you can pick and choose and use. Uh, and the same for the tools, which are slightly bigger than just scripts. And for example, you can get a, yes, you can see I'm just randomly clicking through the folders, and it would be a lineage extractor from the Fabric. Or you can just click on explanation how to do the Microsoft Fabric open mirroring of different databases. And in the samples folder, you can find some specific examples on how to implement something, but all of them, they will have a note. Well, maybe not this one. This is just something explanation or demo how to use the REST API for synchronizing the Delta tables in one lake with SQL Analytics endpoint. And for most of them, you can just see somewhere a note that it's not a production ready demo, it's just a proof of concept that you can use to showcase the capability of Fabric to your client or to your manager, to convince them how to use it, or just learn how to use things by yourself. Uh, and the last thing that is definitely not the least important one is that this repository is quite active. As you can see, the last commit to main was 3 days ago, which is very recent, and the community continuously improves this project, adds new tools, new accelerators, new examples, and you get this back. So if you come back to this repository every once in a while, you can see something new and you can learn something new from this repository, or maybe re-implement it from the advisory team. So once again, I highly recommend you to explore it and learn from this toolbox. Maybe one thing that I would add, just because I have a DevOps background and really like infrastructure as code, would be infrastructure as code, maybe using Terraform modules or something along those lines. And I guess soon it will be added to this repo anyway, and then it will be complete, or maybe it would be expanded even more. Anyways, I hope you like this overview, so like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you later.